Eastern PA Weather Authority meteorologist Bobby Martrich here with your outlook for January 20th, 2016. And for your Wednesday, we're going to have an increase in clouds from west to east today, mostly in the afternoon. We're going to start off partly sunny today, and most of the day should be okay. Some increasing clouds in the afternoon. And we're going to have an opportunity for a few flurries overnight with this dying bit of energy that's moving to the east here, but you'll see with the next frame here after this, it kind of falls apart here. So best chance to see any snow showers or anything of, an actual snow shower without just seeing flurries will probably be our far northwestern areas out here by State College up to, Williamsport and places like that. So those are the areas that could actually see whitening in the ground, but anywhere else, I think we're just looking at a few flurries and that's it. So not a big deal, just mostly cloudy skies overnight with those flurries occurring early, and that's it. Now we turn our attention to the next system, which is the big one we've been talking about. Now, this has been going back and forth with this system here for the last 24 hours or so, and it's really starting to wear us out. There's nothing easy when you're forecasting weather, and you just have a lot of different solutions that you can look at, and everything looks like a total lock, and the next minute one jumps off a cliff, and that's what happened yesterday with the European model. But we are now starting to see the models get fresh data injected into them. So a little bit of that go into the runs last night, the 0Z runs, and we're going to have that even fully sampled data for the energy coming in the west that's going to be responsible for this system. This is going to be fully sampled, and the observations will go into the models for our afternoon run. So I would say by this afternoon we should have a pretty good handle on what's going to have happening here. So I'm going to show you some things that are still speculation on this video. This is the latest GFS. This does have some injected data into it. GFS run started it sort of looked like it was going to start trending toward the Euro, which is the one that jumped off board of a snow idea, or at least confined it to just the southern areas, and that's it. And everybody was thinking that it was game over because the Euro jumped off board. We did not go in storm mode specifically because the European model and some other models trending toward that yesterday, and it was shifting southeast. That looked like it was the trend, and then we looked at the GFS and the Canadian that ran last evening, and this is the GFS here, and it did not follow it started to follow the European model, but then it corrected, and once it got captured, and I'll show you what that means in a second, once it got captured, it was able to lasso this area of low pressure toward the coast and just keep it here and basically stall it for almost 18 hours. So a tremendous amount of snowfall falls over our coverage area here. We do start off here in southern areas as rain, and then go over to or coastal areas, I should say, southern Delaware and coastal areas. We go over to rain, and then we go back to snow as the low starts pulling away. But interior locations, including the I-95 corridor in points northwest, get a pretty good snowfall out of this. So, again, there's a lot of things we have to sort out. Yeah, this is one of the snowiest solutions. The Canadian did something similar, especially the dual low structure was showing as they came up to this latitude. Still gave a pretty good snowstorm, especially in the interior locations. So we're going to look at the model guidance again today as it comes out at this afternoon. It's actually between 10:30 and 1:30. That's our time window. We're going to look at this, and it's going to have fresh ingested models. At the time I did this video, I only had the 0Z GFS and Canadian in here. I did not have the updated European model, so we'll update that today, and then we'll see where we're at going into Friday and Saturday for this storm. It does look like this is going to be a late Friday or Friday evening start, and then it's going to continue the entire day Saturday, and this might actually, according to the GFS here, might go well into Saturday night. So again, there are a lot of different scenarios on the table. The European model did keep this further south. It had a low former along South Carolina, came up like this, and it did not get it. It did not come any further north of that and head out this direction. That kept all the heavy snow south of this line here. So New York City did not get into it. Philadelphia just barely got into it. But South Jersey and Delaware got a really big snowstorm out of that. So, but areas further north were high and dry here. So, the southeast trend here that we're showing in the models yesterday is now starting to reverse itself, it looks like. But we'll see again. We'll narrow that down today when the new model guidance comes in. And what we're talking about with the upper air pattern, this is a look at the GFS here and what this was doing. And you see a huge ridge out west here is causing the energy to dig a little bit further south. What this ends up doing here, and this is looking at 18,000 feet, up into the atmosphere. It closes off a low here, and then once it gets to eastern Tennessee, jumps the surface low to South Carolina. This, meanwhile, will come up here toward the mid-Atlantic here, as this is coming up here up the coast. This is actually going to end up phasing with it. It's going to capture it, what we call capture, and that is when this area of low pressure at the surface, when the low pressure of the surface is right underneath this surface low. So here it is completely captured. The surface low and the upper level low are in the same position over top of one another. So that's what we call captured. So it basically allows this to stall. We did see some of that stalling on the Canadian as well. So it just depends on where this occurs is what we're looking for. Right now we're leaning toward getting pretty good snow in our region here. We will finalize that today. If we're done with the model runs at 1:30 today, and it looks like we have a consensus, we will at that time go into storm mode, and we'll have a first call this evening at 7 p.m. I'm Eastern PA Weather Authority meteorologist Bobby Martrich, and that is your outlook for January 20th, 2016. Have a great Wednesday.